Lados and the Forbidden Eri Fruit. Chapter 1. The Tempting Scent. In the far northern realm, where snow blanketed the land year-round and the sky shimmered with soft auroras, there lay a secret forest known as the Whispering Pines. Towering ancient trees loomed high above, their bark veined with glowing moss and their leaves whispering stories in the wind. Beneath the roots of one such tree lived a young girl named Lados. She was no ordinary child. With long silver hair that danced like moonlight and curious violet eyes, she had the spirit of a fox and the laughter of a spring breeze. Lados wore patchy wool clothes stitched from scraps, a tattered green scarf always fluttering around her neck. Lados had never been content staying in the village. She loved climbing trees, chasing snow rabbits, and exploring every forbidden path. That day, as she hopped across frost-dusted stones, a sudden aroma stopped her in her tracks, sweet, rich, and strangely warm amidst the cold air. "What is that delicious smell?" she whispered, following it through thick ferns and glowing toadstools. In a clearing lit by golden beams of sun breaking through the snowy canopy, she saw it. A single tree with silver bark and leaves like crystal. At the top hung a fruit, round, blushing pink-red, and glowing softly. "An airy fruit," she breathed. "The fruit of legends, said to be sweeter than dreams, and guarded by something ancient and fierce." But curiosity was stronger than caution. With quick limbs, Lados climbed the shimmering trunk and plucked the fruit. The moment she took a bite, the air grew heavy. Chapter 2. The Giant's Wrath. Thunder rolled across the sky, though there were no clouds. The ground trembled. From behind the frosted trees emerged Lila, the giant, the forest's ancient guardian. She stood 3 stories tall, her body carved of stone and bark, glowing with runes etched by time. Her long hair flowed like vines in the wind, and her eyes burned with an amber fire. "Who dares touch the sacred Eri?" her voice boomed, shaking the icicles loose from nearby branches. Lados gasped and bolted, barely dodging a falling pine cone the size of a boulder. Snow sprayed behind her as she fled through bramble and frost. Chapter 3. A Friend's Help. Lados didn't stop until the village came into view, a hidden place among knotted roots and twinkling lanterns. The homes of the elves were built into trees and mushrooms, with curved doors and glowing windows that looked like stars in the forest. She stumbled into the wooden workshop of Jake, her best friend. Jake was an elf boy with wild brown curls and goggles always pushed up on his forehead. He wore a tool belt full of gears and feathers and smelled like pine oil and burnt metal. He was the cleverest boy in the village and the most patient with Lados's wild ideas. "Jake, help! I ate the airy fruit." Jake dropped his wrench. "You what?" With no time to lose, Jake dragged her outside where the elf council had already gathered. The elders were tall and graceful, with cloaks woven from spider silk and voices like bells. They looked grim. Jake quickly assembled a device, a spinning orb that could cast blinding beams of phalite, while the village mages weaved a veil of invisibility around Lados. All of them prepared for the arrival of the giant. Chapter 4. The Apology. When Lila arrived, snowstorm winds followed her. Trees bent in her wake, and even the birds had fallen silent. But instead of hiding, Lados stepped forward. Her legs trembled, but her voice rang clear. "I'm sorry, Great Guardian. I didn't mean to disrespect your forest. I was foolish, and I ask your forgiveness." The silence was thick. Lila lowered her head slightly. Her eyes, still glowing, softened. "Few dare to face me with honesty," the giant rumbled. "Very well, I shall spare you. But in return, you must plant and nurture a new airy tree." Lados nodded quickly, tears prickling her eyes. "I promise." Chapter 5. A Promise Kept. Seasons passed. Where the stolen fruit once grew, now stood a young, airy sapling, tender and glowing faintly. Lados watered it each day with enchanted droplets. Jake built a wind chime fence to keep curious animals away, and the elves sang to it in their ancient tongue. The village, once tense, now welcomed Lados's wild energy with a smile, for she had learned something powerful. And though she still wandered where she shouldn't, she never stole again. Probably